Mad Max Fury Road is a symphony of pure destruction. It's a world-class lesson of what action movies should aspire to be, and it is one of the best, if not the best movie of all time. Don't believe me? Here's a list of reasons why Mad Max Fury Road is a world-class lesson in action movie making.
Fury Road is a 2-hour action sequence. Now that sounds like an insult, but it's actually just a summary of the movie. It follows John Wick, another great action movie released this year, in the sense that the entire arc of the action happens concurrently.
That means no walking off to find a place to spout exposition, no quiet moments to work on a rubbish romantic subplot, and definitely no fucking time jumps.
As far as I'm concerned, the stigma of the dumb action movie is now dead thanks to this film. All of the years of torturous movies made by shitebag directors like Michael Bay and McG may as well never have happened, because nobody's going to care how they ruined action across the 2000s anymore. George Miller has kindly reminded us who is the Don when it comes to blowing shit up, opting to actually blow shit up.
Unlike Michael Bay, who would rather film a pyro going off, hand the camera to someone with severe Parkinson's, then slap a CGI robot over the entire affair and call it a day.
The sheer level of detail that Miller has gone to make sure this movie is as practical and real looking as possible gives Fury Road the honour of being called one of the smartest action flicks made to date. And that is for a movie where the main antagonist drives a car on top of another car on top of a monster truck, which should be nigh on impossible. This is the new standard for action movies, and need I remind you, that car is a real car that you can drive, if your bollocks are big enough anyway.
A film enthusiast once told me that action movies are not art. I can now call that man a twat with the highest authority.
The cinematography in Fury Road is some of the most colourful, artistic expressions of destruction in all of its forms. Instead of the same old grey-on-grey modern warfare shite we're all too familiar with, George Miller offers a panoramic window into a lawless wasteland that makes the apocalypse look fun. Vibrant, bright oranges and reds are the backdrops for behemoth vehicles to go to war on, with gaseous explosions and chromed up warriors ragdolling gleefully onto the dirt road. Quieter sequences in the blue and black segments of night are wonderfully narrowed in pace to keep tensions high even in the smaller beats. Couple that with a story that tells you just as much as you need to know in any given situation, you'll never feel oversaturated with exposition heavy scenes in Fury Road. Instead, you're presented with constant escalation of stakes with set pieces to match, with just enough reason to care if someone does get blown up.
It strikes a seemingly impossible story to action balance, and even when the scales are tipped so hard in the favour of the action that the story has flown out of the scales, gone through a window and become trapped in the eye socket of a startled dog, it still works. Basically, it achieves a perfect balance that keeps you engaged for the whole 9 yards.
The cast of Fury Road just go the extra mile, if you forgive the shit car pun, in order to make their characters work in this crazy place. Tom Hardy's Max is suitably mute and yet menacingly effective when it comes to physically imposing himself over the other survivors of the wasteland, and when it does come time to fight the good fight, he does what's necessary to ensure the goals of the group are seen through. Charlize Theron cranks out a performance like we've never seen from her, a multi-layered class act of emotional vulnerability hidden by just the biggest mask of pure strength, making her the strongest broken woman in all of cinema, rivaling even the bride from Kill Bill. But the one that stood out for me was Nick Holt's Nux, who fully transformed himself into a suicidal fanatic who rediscovers his own humanity and his own purpose along his journey through the wasteland.
At times I barely recognised the actress. He got so enveloped in the role that all I could see was the war boy Nux, instead of the bloke who gets dressed up in blue carpets and gets to fly planes or some shit.
Right, let's get this said, shall we? Apparently, the darker part of the internet wanted to boycott this perfect movie on the basis that it had a hidden feminist agenda and was everything one with the world this week. Personally, I think it's very telling that neither side of this so-called debate, neither the MRAs or the Tumblrina feminists, have even remotely tried to talk about the quality of the movie, and instead end up focusing on a sole point of contention in order to push their equally pathetic ideals as to why you should or shouldn't see a movie. This is why you don't get film reviews from activists, because they don't engage with the material like a normal fucking human being.
But if we can put the Molotovs down for just a second, it's clear to see that Fury Road has some fantastic female characters.
Charlize Theron absolutely kills it as the war-torn Imperator Furiosa, concurrently conveying the dying light of hope and the last iota of morality in this crazy sandblasted shithole of a world. And the brides are an excellent force for the movie as well. Without wanting to spoil too much, it's alarming how much these girls put at risk in order to fight for what they believe in. Later on in the movie, we're treated to some of the biggest badasses in any action movie, and I don't want to give it all away, but biker grannies. They're awesome, I'm not shitting you. I have absolutely no problem with feminists looking at this movie and taking something positive away from it. Why the fuck would I? If this movie, this testosterone-filled explode fest, can appeal to both men and women, with women taking home an empowering message, then that's double bonuses, right? So stop being a shite peddler and let your missus watch it, she'll love it. Fury Road has done something entirely unheard of in the world of entertainment by battling its way out of the stigmas of being in development hell, being a sequel, and being a remake. At various points in its 10-year development cycle, Fury Road has been in and out of development hell, and even after release, fans have long been debating where the new movie sits on the Mad Max timeline. All of this should spell instant disaster for Miller's long overdue return to the world of the wasteland, but instead of shying away from its history, Fury Road comes barreling out, scars showing, giving no fucks. The film took its time to come out, granted, but what's interesting is that it's simultaneously a reboot and a sequel. This means that new-time viewers can enter the madness knowing all they need to know within the first 5 minutes, and lovers of Max's past exploits will appreciate every little nod to the original trilogy of films as well. Whilst the new growing trend in cinema right now is leaning more towards expanded universes and required reading movies, Fury Road says fuck it to all of that, tells you what you need to know, and then proceeds to back a car over your nuts for the next 2 hours.
There's room for a sequel, sure, but even if there wasn't, Fury Road does everything it needs to do to establish itself, assert its dominance, and then wrap its arc up in a nice neat package, making it the perfect action movie.
For a movie that has 0 licensed tracks in it, well, save for an operatic number at the halfway point, which I won't spoil, the original soundtrack to Fury Road may be one of the best fitting in a movie since the likes of Inception. Composer and sound producer Tom Holkenberg, otherwise known as Junkie XL, has made the odd mix of techno/industrial beats, dubstep stings and orchestral styles work like a dream, with the music actively changing not only in pace but also in instrumentation depending on what the camera is pointing at, and it does this with sheer ease. It all feels very procedural, like some kind of mad video game, which isn't really a hard connection to make when you see the amount of video games that Junkie XL has composed for in the past. Also, there's a bloke shredding his guitar that is also a flamethrower that has his own drumming team who drives a giant amp stack across the wasteland into battle. That might be the best sentence describing anything ever.
If any of this doesn't make you get up and go and see the movie now, you may as well admit that nothing will make you happy in life. Ever. Mad Max Fury Road is a movie so good that the only reason it doesn't have a 100% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes is because people are giving it bad reviews out of spite.
But never mind all that shite, the movie is cracking and you should do everything in your power to support it and future action movies that go to this level of genuine effort, like John Wick. This may be the best action is going to get for a long, long while, so get yourself to a theatre and get ready to die historic on the Fury Road. Thank you for watching, we are Foul Entertainment, and if you like this video, consider hitting that like button either with your mouse or with your finger if you're on a mobile device. That will really help us out. If you'd like to see more content like this and more content in general in the future, then do subscribe. If you'd like to find us on Facebook and Twitter, the links are in the description below, and our main website is at www.foulentertainment.com.